You've heard of Pinhead, the priest of pain. But what if I told you his story began long before the movies? Tonight we uncover a forbidden truth, erased from history, where flesh, blood, and silence merged into something beyond human. The tale begins in England, 1887. A child born beneath a cold sky, his cries never came. Instead, he stared into the world with eyes too old, too aware. The midwife whispered, "This boy does not belong here." And she was right. Raised in shadows, the boy knew hunger, cruelty, and isolation. Dogs barked when he walked near. Rats followed him like disciples. And when anger grew, accidents followed. Unexplained, violent, terrifying. His name, Elliot Spencer. At 12, Elliot vanished into the streets. He slept in graveyards, feeding from scraps. Locals avoided him, whispering curses. One night, a man tried to attack him. Days later, the man was found hanging, skin torn open, as if by hooks. Whispers spread. The boy is cursed. But Elliot didn't fear the whispers. He embraced them. Pain didn't break him. It shaped him. And soon he began to seek answers in places others feared to look. Ruins, crypts, forgotten texts. In the chaos of the First World War, Elliot enlisted. But unlike other soldiers, he didn't fear death. He sought it. Bombs fell, gas spread, bullets ripped men apart. Yet Elliot remained untouched, as if death itself rejected him. Survivors claimed he spoke to shadows in languages they didn't know. One name echoed from his lips: Leviathan. The war ended, but Elliot returned changed. Empty, yet burning with hunger for something beyond flesh. His search led him across Europe. In Paris, he uncovered diagrams of impossible machines. In Budapest, he read diaries written in blood. And in Istanbul, he finally found it. A puzzle box of black steel, pulsing like it was alive. The seller begged him, "Do not open it. This does not belong to our world." Elliot smiled. He paid in gold and blood. And in a locked room lit by black candles, he turned the box. The walls shook, chains rattled, screams filled the night. 3 nights later, silence. Neighbors broke the door. The room was empty, except for bloodstains and marks like chains dragged something away. On the mirror, words carved in dried blood. The flesh betrayed me. Pain revealed me. At a Roman convent, a man arrived at dawn, naked, carved with perfect grids, metal studs driven through his skull. He neither bled nor blinked. A priest blessed him. He smiled and replied in ancient Aramaic, "Blessing is pain. Paradise is the labyrinth." Within a week, the convent fell silent. Doors stood open, beds unmade, candles burned to pools of wax. Only chains on the floor kept moving, as if dragged by unseen hands. In the cell wall, fresh words appeared. High Priest of Agony, Servant of Leviathan. Secret files traveled from Rome to London. An analyst ran DNA against forgotten ledgers. A name resurfaced from the mud of war: Elliot Spencer. The report ended abruptly, classified. But a single photo leaked, a face mapped by nails, eyes like frozen storms. Officials whispered that the box was not a door, but a vow. Open it with hunger, and the realm replies. Not hell, not heaven, an exacting order that trims the soul to fit its geometry. There, pain is grammar. There, silence is law. There, Elliot had a new name. They called them Cenobites, once human, now officiants of exquisite order, each transformed by biography, by wound, by wish. Elliot became the most methodical. Hooks traced diagrams in muscle. Chains wrote equations in skin. Mercy was not denial, but precision. Cases multiplied. Locked rooms, vanished bodies, survivors speaking in riddles. Every scene shared a pattern, a metallic cube left nearby, its panels subtly misaligned, as if waiting for a final turn. Witnesses heard a calm voice say, "You asked, I answered." A monk from Belgium escaped after minutes inside. His journal, seized, smuggled, copied, claimed time there did not pass. It sliced. Corridors of living iron breathed. Voices coaxed, never shouted. And when the priest arrived, bones listened. Even silence had teeth. A cult misread the ritual and tried to command him. 7 entered a bunker. None returned. A recorder survived. A measured British voice. I wasn't summoned, I was remembered. Then chains rattled, air thinned, and one last exhale rolled like distant thunder. An occult task force formed, the Sealers. They caged a box in a mirrorless vault. Still it shifted at night, aligning itself like a compass seeking a truer north. During a test, an agent vanished 19 minutes, returned blind, tongue torn, chest scrawled, I have seen. He died 2 weeks later, peacefully tearing off his jaw as if undoing a knot. The Vatican withdrew, declaring the entity pre-dogma, an error older than faith. Scholars argued Leviathan was not a god, but a principle, a spinning clarity that loves straight lines. Whispers claimed Elliot had fused with that principle. Not man, not demon, an equation wearing skin. The box became his script. Each carved line a verb, each motion a command. Opening it was never play. It was consent, and it always answered. By the 1970s, investigators noted new patterns. Families vanished whole. Survivors spoke of chains that kissed like lovers and corridors pulsing with heartbeats. They said Pinhead did not chase. He waited, and when he spoke, silence obeyed. One German detective survived the crossing. Found naked, cross-stitched, he repeated a phrase until death split his skull. He is time, he is pain, he is me. His brain ruptured without a sound, as though silence itself snapped inside him. Rumors spread of cults tracing the box. A killer arranged bodies into cubes. Others drilled symmetrical holes into their heads, hoping to hear chains. All shared a belief. The priest returns when flesh ripens. And every time, they whispered Spencer's name. Sealers tried burning a captured box. Flames bent, steel shrieked, and the priest went blind, clawing his own eyes while carving on the wall. Faith cannot seal what hunger invites. After that, boxes were no longer destroyed, only buried, only watched. In Prague, a private investigator found bones carved like ornaments, hooks gleaming in the dark. A tape survived, a voice calm, deliberate. Pain reveals, flesh lies. Are you ready to be true? The man lost his mind, carving cubes in every wall. The journal was locked in lead, yet it bled. Scholars noted the words, Pinhead does not feel. He translates. He is the echo of a scream never heard. Each box wasn't just an object. It was a mirror of desire, bait for those who craved. Online, new sects emerged. Forums traded sketches of boxes, methods of crafting replicas. Some vanished. Others returned scarred, whispering of breathing walls, corridors of iron, and the priest smiling silently, patient as hunger itself. One hacker leaked a video. A replica box turning, then darkness, chains, screams. Final frame. Words written in ash. What you called never left. The clip was erased in days, but those who watched still dream of hooks humming in rhythm. Experts noticed the boxes awoke in places soaked with suffering, abandoned hospitals, prisons, war zones. Reports multiplied, metallic sounds at night, mirrors that breathed, and a figure watching, not blinking, waiting. The labyrinth remembered. In 1987, a professor named Marcus Bell studied the box's symbols. He argued they mirrored the flower of life, but inverted, a geometry of suffering. He named it the flower of pain. His paper vanished. Weeks later, so did he. Bell's apartment was found sealed, a single cube left on the floor. Officers reported nausea, dizziness, hallucinations. One swore he heard chains behind the walls. Another fainted. The cube was buried under concrete. The floor still pulsed at night. Occult manuscripts attributed to Aleister Crowley described a traveler who became architecture itself. Flesh was not his end, but his mold. The text called him the Apostle of Absence, one who crossed and returned as structure, not man. The prayer at the end did not beg for salvation. It begged to be opened like a lock, like a wound. Crowley hinted that Elliot had fused with Leviathan, becoming its echo in flesh. Not servant, not prisoner, but consequence. Survivors of the labyrinth never spoke of torture, but of revelation. One claimed his tongue became barbed wire. Another said chains kissed her gently. The priest simply watched. The true agony was what he showed beneath your own skin. Artifacts surfaced, a skull marked by hooks, a box carved from bone, inscriptions older than scripture. Inside, a note. The box was my door. Flesh was my punishment. He did not kill me, he rebuilt me. The handwriting was trembling. The Vatican tried exorcisms, flames, hammers. Each attempt failed. Priests went mad, gouging eyes, painting walls with blood. Finally, the church ruled. These were not demons. They were errors older than God, and they could not be undone. For a decade, reports fell silent, but in 2011, Tokyo awakened. A girl bought a puzzle box from a street vendor. Her phone was found still recording. Final frame, chains descending from the ceiling, and a nailed face smiling. The box had changed. Sometimes glass, sometimes bone, sometimes steel, as if adapting to each generation's hunger. Scholars debated, was it an artifact or an idea? A living symbol, choosing those who dreamed of it. A thought that hunts. And when enough pain ripens, it does not knock. It simply returns, not to punish, not to kill, but to reveal. To show what waits beneath mirrors, beneath skin. And always, the whisper follows. Pain is revelation. Private collections began hoarding cubes. Locked vaults, secret museums, guarded archives. But no lock lasts forever. Curiosity is the only key. And those who touched the box all vanished, leaving behind only echoes of chains in the dark. By the mid-80s, a British writer named Clive Barker stumbled on forgotten papers, diaries, sketches, blurred photos. Among them, a name that chilled him, Elliot Spencer. The notes spoke of rituals, corridors, hooks, and a box that bled. Barker doubted, then obsessed. He found matching police files, missing person reports, and Vatican carvings identical to the diagrams. He called his script The Gospel of Pain. Studios rejected it. Too dark, too real. Until one accepted, if softened. He changed names, blurred details, and called it Hellraiser. Audiences thought it was fiction, but makeup designs came not from imagination, but from a faded photograph of a man with nails in his skull. Caption: High Priest of Flesh. During filming, strange events erupted. Actors dreamed of iron corridors. Crew members woke with scratches. Barker confessed, the set felt watched. The movie was finished, released, and the world met Pinhead. They thought he was invented. He wasn't. Intelligence agencies seized Barker's notes, photos, drafts. Interviews were censored. The original script vanished. What survived was a diluted mask, a safer version for the public. But behind it, the truth endured. Pinhead was no myth. Sequels softened him further. He became human, fallible, almost sympathetic. But not for art, out of necessity. Because audiences obsessed. Some disappeared after repeated viewings. One girl vanished inside a cinema restroom, a replica cube left behind. Studios sold toys, masks, costumes. Pinhead became Halloween merchandise, a pop icon. But beneath the fun, unease lingered. In 2001, at a horror exhibit, a woman touched the original prop cube. She collapsed, eyes rolled back, whispering in Aramaic. Her words: flesh betrays, pain frees. Officials covered the event. Scholars infiltrated fan conventions, searching for drawings, symbols, theories. Rumors spread. The cult never ended. It simply adapted, thriving inside fiction. Because fiction travels faster than faith. Asked if Elliot Spencer was real, Barker once smiled and said, "Pain has always existed. I just gave it a face." Maybe he did. A face of nails. A voice of calm torment. A presence waiting behind the screen, silent. What Hollywood offered was a mask. The true story hid in sealed files, smuggled diaries and whispers carved into walls. Elliot Spencer was not fiction. He was transformation. And Pinhead is the shadow of that truth. Decades later, reports still surface. Strange disappearances tied to puzzle-like objects. Survivors speak of corridors alive, hooks humming, and a calm British voice promising revelation. The boxes adapt, but the whisper never changes. Researchers argue the labyrinth is not a place, but a structure woven into thought itself. Every scar, every wound, every silent scream feeds it, and when it hungers, the box appears, not summoned, remembered. Elliot did not die. He dissolved. Flesh became architecture. Chains became scripture. Nails became punctuation. He was not punished. He was translated into the language of pain, and Pinhead is that translation. For some, he is terror. For others, temptation. Because opening the box is not death, it is truth. A truth hidden beneath skin, beneath silence, beneath desire. And those who see it never return unchanged. The labyrinth is patient. It does not chase, it waits. And when you are ready, when hunger outweighs fear, the box will find you. A puzzle, a mirror, a trap disguised as curiosity. Legends say each generation remakes the box. Wood, steel, glass, bone, it doesn't matter. The shape is only a keyhole. The lock is within you. And Elliot waits on the other side, calm, precise, eternal. Some call him demon, others angel. He is neither. He is balance, consequence, equation. He is the silence after a scream, the geometry behind scars. He is what pain becomes when it refuses to end. You've seen him in films, on posters and costumes, but remember, fiction was camouflage. Behind the mask lies a man erased, a priest reborn in torment. The real Pinhead was never Hollywood's creation. The box is not entertainment, it is invitation. And once answered, you do not control what enters. Pain is not punishment, it is revelation. And the priest of pain does not forget. He only waits. Perhaps you've seen him already, in dreams, in mirrors, in the silence after pain. Perhaps you've felt hooks tugging at the edges of thought. If so, the labyrinth is already near, and the box is already turning. If you listen carefully, you'll hear it. Chains rattling where no one walks. Whispers in languages you never learned. And the calm voice, patient, promising, I am not summoned. I am remembered. Do not think of him as horror. Think of him as truth. Flesh is fragile. Pain endures. The labyrinth waits not for the damned, but for the curious. And curiosity is always the first cut. So, the next time you see a puzzle box on a shelf, in a movie, in a dream, remember, it's not decoration, it's a door. And Pinhead, the priest of pain, is always on the other side, waiting for you. This was the forbidden story of Elliot Spencer, the man behind Pinhead. If it haunted you, subscribe to the channel, comment, and share. Because the labyrinth feeds on memory. And by saying his name, you've already opened the first lock.